Hi all. Okay, we have already discussed about sprint planning, about the Scrum events. So the Scrum event, the first Scrum event is sprint planning. Now, we know that in Agile, we inspect and adapt. Inspect and adapt. It is a continuous improvement process. So we will keep on inspecting, we will discuss in the retro, and we will change it and we will adapt it. So it's a continuous improvement process is our Scrum. So remember these two words, we will inspect and adapt. Inspection and adaptation is always part of it is what is Scrum. Okay, so the Scrum events we discussed, the first Scrum event is sprint planning. Now there are few inputs of the sprint planning. What are the inputs? First, there should be a product backlog items prioritized by a product owner. Okay, so product backlog items prioritized by a product owner, product goal defined, capacity of the team, how much we can accommodate in the sprint based on that. So we should have the definition of done. So these are the inputs of our sprint planning. Now the outputs of sprint planning are uh, in the sprint planning, we define first of all what we are achieving, and then we define the plan how we are achieving. So the output of the sprint planning is sprint goal, and then the um, plan. When I say by plan, it means the items that we will pick in the sprint, that we will work on this, the user stories that we will work on the sprint. So that is the output of our sprint planning. Okay, now what will be the role of a Scrum Master in the sprint planning? That's a very big question and a very, very, very important question. Scrum Master will definitely facilitate, no doubt in that, will coach the team to adhere to the process, will make sure the team is not overcommitting, will make sure the team is not getting burnt out, will ask the right set of questions in alignment to the sprint goal, will be a major will play a major role in the decision making process. So you should always be proactive for your team. So Scrum Master's role is very important in the sprint planning. However, it is important in every Scrum event, but in sprint planning, it is very important. If the Scrum Master will not ask right set of questions, if they do not have the decision making capability, trust me, the team can get burned out. If the team can get burned out, it will result in the overcommitting. If the team is overcommitting, we will not be able to deliver a quality increment, right? So your role is very important. uh, yes, so now after sprint planning, when I told that the input of the sprint planning is capacity. So, how to know a capacity of a team? Let's understand this. Let's understand now how a team capacity is defined. Okay? So, to understand that, let's go ahead and understand it. Okay. All right. So we just discussed about what is sprint planning, and now to find the capacity of of a team, let's play around with the simple Excel that I created. So in this Excel, if you know, I have step one is the project ABC, and then I will have the sprint number. What is the sprint number? Which sprint? Okay, project name, sprint number, which sprint are we? Sprint 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. the duration, which is mostly 2 weeks. Sprint goal is defined here. What are we planning to do? Like in my project, I was planning to check in to stock market app with proper authorization and security. Okay, from and to. Now, total working days. How is it calculating the total working days? Is through step 2. In a 2 week sprint, if we exclude the weekends, we will have 10 days. And along with that, it will also include the holiday calendar days off. Now, from sprint start date here is 19 and end date is 30th. Okay, now in between we are getting one holiday, which is a King's Day here, so that is why it is taking 9 days. Okay, you can, uh, just give me 1 second. You can also play around with this a bit. See, how will you play around with this? For example, it's why it's showing. I think you cannot see that, right? Let me just change the color to black. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Okay, let's play around. So I have just simply done the formula here. A formula is network days, which is embedded in Excel, B6, B7, and then E13 is to E18. So this is my E13 to E18. So any holiday that will fall between this time and this time, it will automatically take from here and deduct. For example, let's say here, maybe, let's say, for example, I mark it as 1 second. I mark it as, okay, edit. Say I mark it as 5th. You can play around. See, I mark it as 5th. When I mark it as 5th and hit here, it will automatically take 9 days. Now, how 9 days? 9 days is, because it is not coming between this range, so it goes to 9 days, okay? Now, this is step 1 and this is step 2, okay? Yeah. Let's move on to the next sheet. Now, our next sheet is a sprint capacity. Now, team members, how I calculate this? This will list the team members, how many members are there in the team. This is per person hour. How many hours one team member is giving in the sprint. And then this is your, yeah. Now this is your leave days. If a person, say James is on leave for 2 days, so I will have to deduct those hours from James, what do you call as James efforts. Okay, so this is 8. Now without leave, if I calculate the available efforts for each person will be 72. How the 72 came? It is like total hours multiplied by this is it, multiply this 9 days. So 9 days and total hours is our 8 hours. Per person 8 hours multiplied by 9, it comes out to be 72. So available efforts for everybody is 72. Okay, now what is this event time? Let's go here. So every team member will be busy in sprint planning, retrospective, sprint review, refinement, daily stand-up. Now understand, the productive hours are only measured when the developer is writing the code or tester is testing. We do not take the meetings time as productive times. They are extra. So we will have, so this total comes out to be 8 hours. So out of this 72, we will have to minus 8. 72 minus 8 comes as 64. Now 64 is the total number of hours every person will have in these 9 days. However, out of that, one person is off for 2 days, another person is off for 8 days. So we will have to minus 24. So here we see, now see, when we minus 24 hours out of 510, it comes out to be 471. Now 471 hours is the total number of hours 8 team members have in these 2 weeks. Okay, now wait. Okay, ठीक है. अब 471 तो हो गए इनके पास, सम 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 सम, ठीक है.